Hey guys, it's Vornskyr here, and today we're back in Elite Dangerous, and I'm taking a bit more of a look at the CQC Beta, or Update 1.4. As you can see, we're here at Dalton Gateway in LHS 3447. This is the starting system, and if you don't have access to the Founders World, during a beta, you can actually find all the ships and components available for sale here. So this is a pretty good place to come if you need to. Or if you just want to self-destruct and come back to the starting system and do it like that rather than flying to the Founders World. Anyway, so what we're going to do today is take a look at the three new ships that have been added to the game, those being the Imperial Eagle, the Federal Assault Ship, and the Federal Gunship. So we'll start off with the Imperial Eagle, and one thing you might notice while we're here is that there are no rank requirements for any of these ships. That does mean that I can't really tell you what rank will be required for some of these. You can see the dropship doesn't have a required rank, and neither does the assault ship, or the clipper, or the gunship. Anyway, let's start off with the Imperial Eagle, which costs 11,000 credits at the moment. Now, I think that these ships all cost about 10% of their regular value. So maybe we'll be able to work out what the normal cost will be from that. But anyway, so this is, as far as I understand, this ship is basically just an upgraded Eagle. It's got a few cosmetic differences and everything as well. I think it might have one extra weapons hardpoint, I'm not really sure. Of course it does have the nice Imperial cockpit. Very fancy. Alright, so let's go into the outfitting and we'll take a look at what this ship actually has. Okay, so we've got 3 weapons hardpoints, 1 medium and 2 small, and a single utility hardpoint. In here, mostly size 3. Not very many internal compartments, but it's a small fighter. There's enough for that. I can't really see this ship. There we go. It's a pretty cool looking ship. I like it. Let's do a quick loadout of this, and we'll see what we can see. Okay, so the loadout I've gone for is basically dedicated fighter. There's no real room for anything else. It's all A-rated basically, except for the life support, because who cares about that. You know, A3 shield generator, shield cell bank. I've put a discovery scanner in. You could probably do for a size 1 shield cell bank if you wanted to. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, weapons, a gimbaled beam laser for this medium mount, and then 2 fixed multi-cannons. So we'll see how this goes. And a shield booster there as well for a little bit of extra shield strength. You might notice as well, this ship actually has a really good jump range with an A-rated frameshift drive. Unladen, 16.59 light years. That's not bad for a small fighter. Especially in this game, when you actually go with dedicated fighters, a lot of the time their jump range isn't very good because they're weighed down with weapons and shields and all the rest of it. That's actually a fairly decent jump range. And you can see I am going over my power use. I should be able to control that a bit with you know, power priorities and management and that sort of thing. But yeah, so that's how my basic loadout is. Let's take it out, and once I set my fire grips, we will see how it goes. Okay, so I couldn't really get the shield booster working with the power and everything. I didn't want to spend too much time trying to figure it out. So instead I've just put a kill warrant scanner on. Again, I mean, if you're doing bounty hunting or whatever, you're going to have one of those, so kind of makes sense. Anyway, I think that's all good to go. So let's launch out of here. And one thing I want to try and find as well is some of the new hazardous resource extraction sites. Now, this ship is not likely to be viable in those. I think it'll get blown up pretty quickly, but it'll give us a good excuse to see what's actually at those extraction sites. The problem is going to be finding one. So hopefully they'll be fairly common. We've also got these new compromised nav beacons. I haven't seen one of those yet either. But let's see how this manoeuvres for now. I've only got 2 pips to the engines at the moment. It seems to manoeuvre fairly well. I mean, as you would kind of expect, the Eagle's a pretty manoeuvrable ship. Okay, so there we go. Let's put full power to the engines. Listen to that engine noise. That's pretty loud. Give it a boost. Booster sounds cool. It boosted up to 415 meters per second. That is very fast. That's a pretty cool sound effect, and hit 420 that time. Blaze it. Okay, so yeah, this is a fast ship, there's no doubt about that. When you're boosting, if you're trying to run away from anything, this will be able to run away from, I think, pretty much every ship in the game. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's see how it maneuvers once we slow down a bit. Yep, fairly maneuverable. Roll is obviously pretty good. Yaw is terrible, as it always is in this game. But you should be able to stay behind most targets. Let's have a look at our weapons pattern. I am outside of the fire zone, I think. Yeah, I am. Okay, so that's that. So yeah, you could probably go all fixed weapons on this ship actually. I put the gimbaled one on there for a little bit of extra range, especially because it's located above the ship. So you should be able to fire like up around here a little bit with a gimbaled weapon. But the those two small weapons, definitely fixed, it would work with this, which is what I've gone for. So okay, let's see if we can find something to shoot at though. Okay, well I haven't found a hazardous extraction site or anything yet, but what I have found is this salvageable wreckage. Now this pops up just like a USS does, and I seem to be flying in circles around it. But apparently there are also missions for this sort of stuff as well, so you can actually pick up a mission to go and salvage something. I'm going to have to get further away from this. But you can pick up a mission to go salvage something, and then you come out, you find a salvageable wreckage, and I guess you collect cargo from it or something, which may be considered illegal, I'm not really sure. I don't actually have cargo, like capacity, on this ship. God, that's really loud. But let's have a look at this anyway. I won't be able to do anything with it, but let's see what we can see. So we got a canister there, occupied cryopod. So I guess you'd get a mission to pick up one of those or something. And yeah, it looks like just a destroyed ship. An Imperial ship by the looks of it. Probably a clipper. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So this is one of the things you can do, just another sort of mission. I guess it looks like it's just another scoop mission, scoop and carry, basically. But I guess it could be legal instead of illegal. I'm not really sure. I haven't actually seen one of the missions yet. But anyway, that is a thing that's available. So anyway, let's carry on and I'll try to find something to shoot at. Okay, so let's see if any wanted ships spawn in here. And one thing that I probably should have mentioned a little bit earlier is that power plants have changed as well now. They're no longer a guaranteed kill shot. What happens now is that a power plant has a chance to be a kill shot, like to destroy the ship when you destroy the power plant. But what may happen most of the time is that the ship kind of gets stunned instead. So targeting the power plant, and that being the only thing you do, may not be as viable anymore. There has also been some changes to ship penetration, so basically you won't be able to just shoot at a ship from the front of the ship and penetrate all the way to the back anymore. Full details on that will be in the video description, or the patch notes. A link to the patch notes will be anyway. But yeah, so you're going to have to be a bit more careful with that sort of thing, I guess. I haven't really experienced that myself yet, so I guess this will be a chance for that, assuming anything ever actually spawns in here. Okay, so we've got another Imperial Eagle here. So I guess it'll be something of a even fight. He's ranked dangerous. There's a Cobra Mark III with him as well. The Cobra is probably the more dangerous target, so we will focus on that first. Let's get a bit closer, and I guess I'll target his power plant, and we'll see what happens. There it is.
Scan detected.
He's scanning me. I don't want to go head on with him really. So let his scan finish so that he'll turn around. Alright, it's been a while since I've had to be careful fighting a Cobra. Anyway, beam laser first. And does he use chaff, or is that just really inaccurate? I think he's used chaff. Alright. Of course, if you had multiple like fixed energy weapons as well, that wouldn't really be a problem.
Under attack.
Eagle's joined in the fun now. Let's see how this handles two ships at once. His shields are almost down. My shields are doing okay. Not fantastic, but they're okay. In saying that, it's getting a bit much now. Let's put full power to the
Target shields offline.
systems. Don't really need weapons power to take out. He's using a frag cannon as well. So yeah, my shields aren't doing too well. I mean, to be fair, I suppose a small fighter you don't really want to be taking on 2-on-1. He's using a lot of chaff as well, which is kind of weird. So I'm probably going to die here. The ship's actual maneuverability though seems to be pretty good. Even with only 1 pip to the engines, it's still moving around fairly well. So I'm on 65% hull. It is taking a beating from this Eagle pretty well, if I'm honest. I did deliberately boost there just to try and get away from this guy. Hasn't worked all that well. Obviously he can keep up with me pretty well, given that he's in the same ship. Now they're both shooting at me. Oh god, that's going to be... No, that's okay. Alright, well I'm going to die here. Not the greatest fight or anything. So yeah, in terms of the ship itself, obviously survivability isn't the greatest. I mean, I suppose I could have used one of my shield cell banks there. I completely forgot that I had them, if I'm honest. Let's just go back to Trevithick Dock. Yeah. Oh no, we'll go back to Dalton Gateway, of course. Yeah, I guess 1-on-1, it's a decent little ship. Anything more than that, you may find yourself in trouble. But I suppose that's the same with a lot of ships in this game. Once you start getting ganged up on, it gets a bit painful. But maneuverability was good. Firepower, as long as you can get all your weapons on target, the firepower is reasonable for a small, cheap ship. And as a starter fighter, it seems pretty good. The question is going to be is, what Imperial rank does it require? Because obviously ranking up has gotten rather difficult these days. Or maybe not difficult, but it takes a long time. You might find yourself, by the time that you're the right rank to use that ship, you've already well and truly gone past it in terms of your credits and everything. But that will really depend on what the ranking requirement is, and that's going to be the same for all of these ships, I think. Anyway, so that's the Imperial Eagle. It seems like a decent little fighter. Obviously, I mean, I don't really have time to do a real in-depth, long sort of playthrough just with a single ship, because I want to look at these other ones. So let's go for the Federal Assault Ship. And again, no idea what the ranking requirement of this ship will be. And I believe that both the Federal Gunship and this Federal Assault Ship are both variants of the Federal Dropship. I might be wrong about that, but they've got the same kind of basic look and everything, the real boxy sort of look, with a few little stubby wings poking off. I've never actually flown the Federal Dropship before, so the cockpit's kind of new to me. Visibility's not terrible, it's reasonable. Alright, well anyway, let me do a loadout on this, and again, we'll do the same sort of thing. And god, that's an ugly ship. Look at this, that's hideous. Okay, so the Federal Assault Ship. This is a pretty quick, rough loadout on this. You can see we've got 2 large hardpoints, 2 medium hardpoints, 4 utility mounts. Internals, this is going to be an interesting ship to load out in the main game, like on the live servers. It's going to be very expensive for some things. You're talking like size 6 power plant thrusters, size 5 frameshift drive, 6 power distributor. But then interestingly, the shields are only size 5 maximum. So yeah, to get an A-rated one of these is going to be pretty expensive in terms of components and everything. Like an A6 power plant is pretty expensive from what I remember, as well as some of these other components. Anyway, what I've gone with is just A-rated everything, and then shield generator A5. I've gone for an A5 shield cell bank as well as an A4. That's just using these compartments up basically. I didn't really have much of an idea what to put in them. I suppose you could use this as a trading ship if you wanted to. Although realistically, if you wanted to have shields as well, you wouldn't be able to carry a huge amount of cargo, and the jump range isn't fantastic either. So there's probably better ships for that, realistically. And then so I just shoved an interdictor in there as well as a fuel scoop and discovery scanner just to fill up some of the space. In here, I'm using my large hardpoints. I've got 2 gimbaled burst lasers. I wanted to use those so that I was a bit careful with my power use, because having the shield booster as well as 2 shield cell banks, I've got one of them switched off. But you do have to be careful of your power use. So yeah, both of these are gimbaled because of their positioning. I thought gimbaled might work a bit better. And then I've gone for 2 multi-cannons down here, and I went for both of these gimbaled as well, just because why not? So yeah, burst lasers and multi-cannons, it's a pretty standard loadout. I've also got a kill run scanner, shield booster, and a shaft launcher. So yeah, again, 0 cargo capacity, because that's not what I'm really looking at this time. But let's try and find something for this to shoot at as well. So as before, So what I'll do first is I'll try to find somewhere that might have a hazardous resource extraction site, and then we'll launch out and see how it flies. Okay, so heading to a system that should hopefully have some resource extraction sites. Let's launch out of here and see how this ship flies. And I really don't know what to expect from this one. Looks like it uses medium pads, I think. I didn't actually check what size pads it used, because that's pretty important on determining whether you can land on an outpost or not.
Ship released. Engines engaged.
Alright, so
Landing
far,
gear retracted.
just with the maneuvering thrust, it does seem a little bit sluggish. Engine noise isn't bad. Again, this ship got up to a pretty fast speed. That's 400 meters per second with full power to the engines. These are with A-rated thrusters, of course. So let's get out of the no-fire zone. Eventually. There we go. And I didn't do my fire groups because I'm an idiot. Let's make these one. Alright. So that's the large weapons firing there. That is one of the multi-cannons firing. Why is only one of them firing? They are definitely both on the same fire group, and only one of them is firing. That is weird. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it'll be different once I've got... Okay, so once you've got something targeted... Okay. I guess it's something to do with the gimbaling there. Yeah, it's to do with the gimbals. That's really weird. I haven't seen that before. Okay. Only time will tell if that's actually a problem or not. So, how's this for maneuverability? It's actually, it's not terrible. It is going pretty slow though. These sort of like to do this sort of maneuvering. So that may be a problem. But it's not as bad as I expected, I think. Anyway, let's try to find some targets. Okay, we've got a hazardous resource extraction site here, which I've been looking for a while. I have no idea what my survivability is going to be like in one of these. Personally, I'm expecting it to be not great. From what I've heard, you get like wings of anacondas and that sort of thing in these. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I guess we'll find out. It's interesting. System link error, security response unavailable. I guess that means you're not going to find system security in here, if I had to guess. Now, we do have some ships down this way. Federal assault ship, type 9 federal assault ship, same one. Alright, let's have a look at this federal assault ship. I'm going to guess that he's got a bounty on him. Yep, he's a master, he's wanted 69,000 credits, not a huge bounty. Let's target the old power plant.
Scan detected.
Alright, let's see how this goes. Large weapons should take down these shields pretty quickly. Looks like he's using turrets maybe, I'm not really sure. That or somebody else is shooting. There's a big conflict going on down there as well, maybe that's what I was seeing. But yeah, he's either using weapons with a large range of gimbaling or turrets, I'm not really sure. You can see it's taking a lot longer to damage the power plant than it normally would. That's because of that change to penetration values. And apparently one thing that will get around that is railguns. They've got a really high penetration value. Apparently, according to the patch notes. So they should be able to penetrate pretty much anything. But yeah, it looks like this guy's hull's going to be down before his power plant is. And I'd say that's it, he's dead. Alright. Ship handled itself pretty
Target
well.
destroyed.
Cobra down here. Let's see what's going on with the rest of this fighting though. Cobra. Federal dropship.
Target shields online.
So what else we got in here? That's about it. This guy's mostly dead. Oh, his shield's down anyway. He's not that dead. And that is a Cobra. Alright. Let's take out this dropship. Who seems to be flying backwards into an asteroid.
Target shields online.
He's got his shields back up. That probably won't last for long though.
Scan detected.
And I really should have all power to the weapons at this point.
Target
I was trying to
shields
recharge my shields a bit.
under attack.
So yeah, these two smaller weapons at the bottom, the medium ones, they're going to be a bit annoying to use, I think. You have to have them just in the right place, at least when using gimbals on them. It may be different with fixed weapons, but it seems like you're going to have them in exactly the right place to use them effectively. So let's pop a shield cell bank. That should have been one of the A5 ones. This guy's almost dead.
Target shields offline.
1% left. So we do seem to be keeping up with the maneuverability pretty well. So it seems like these hazardous resource extraction sites are going to be a good place to come and make some money. The spawning seems a little bit better than high intensity and all the rest of it. And so far it seems that, well, you're not going to have system security jumping in to ruin the fun. If I was right about what that message meant, we've got something going on down there as well. Let's have a look at that
Target shields
once I take out this sidey.
under attack.
Bang. So what else we got? Take this eagle out first.
Target shields offline.
The shields do seem to be absorbing a fair bit of damage. I don't know what the megajoule rating or anything is. I'm gonna have to hit a shield cell bank here though.
Target shields offline. Under attack.
Alright, they're down. Now where was all that shooting happening? There's an asteroid there. Let's try not to run into that.
Target destroyed.
Cobra down this way, somewhere. There we go. Alright, so I'm not going to spend much longer in here. We'll just get a couple more kills and then I'll probably self-destruct and head back to the station so we can have a look at the final ship. What do we got down here? Cobras Type 7, that's interesting. Nothing else. Somebody's using chaff. What a bastard. Yeah, well, I guess we'll go after one of these Cobras if I can target him. It's this guy. No, that's a Sidewinder. Asp? Is this Asp attacking? Interesting, I wanted Asps. You don't normally see those in extraction sites. They're normally too busy mining.
Under attack.
Let's take this guy out.
Target shields
Not bothering to
offline.
target his subsystems or anything. So yeah, the large and medium weapons definitely work well. Get a good bit of damage out of them. I suppose the key thing with this ship is going to be determining,
Target destroyed.
you know, what other ships in its price range and the ranking range and everything can compete with it. Because if it's one of those ships where, you know, there's other ships really close to its price range that are outright better, then nobody's going to use it. But it seems reasonable so far. It's you know, it's handling pretty well. The weapons do decent damage, as long as you've got it set up properly, I suppose. I think one thing that could be a problem for it is how expensive it's going to be to outfit. I have a feeling this one's going to be a pretty expensive ship, especially when you're A rating components. I think it may be a little bit more expensive than it's worth, but we'll see. Anyway, so once we've self-destructed here, we'll head back to the station and we'll check out the last ship. Alright, so the Federal gunship. This, in terms of price ranges, it sits between the Imperial Clipper and the Fer-de-Lance. So assuming this is just 10% of the regular price, it'll be about 35 million credits, as opposed to the assault ship, which would be about 19, and the drop ship, which is around 14, which sounds about right. I think. I'm not quite sure actually. Anyway, gunship. Let's take a look at this. Stupid joystick. Okay. So it looks, from the silhouette and everything, it looks maybe a little bit, I can't talk. It looks a little bit bigger, a little bit beefier than the assault ship. Cockpit looks pretty much the same, which you'd expect if it is a variant, and I believe that it is. Anyway, let's take a look at the outfitting. Yeah, it looks pretty much the same externally as well. Same basic ship. Okay. So 1 large hardpoint, 4 medium hardpoints, and 2 small hardpoints. That could be interesting in terms of outfitting and everything. You know, you might put a large plasma accelerator there, and then beam weapons here or something, or I'm not really sure. It's some interesting options. Anyway, yeah, I'll run through an outfitting on this, and we'll see what we come up with. Okay, so we've got this pretty much loaded out. It's not a great loadout. We are like on the limit in terms of power and everything. I suppose we could probably deal with that a little bit by selling this frameshift drive interdictor, but even still, it's not really great for power from what I've seen. You're gonna have to be really careful with your weapons loadout because this has so many weapons. What I've actually done is I've gone for pretty much everything laser except for the large hardpoint, which I've gone for a cannon. So I've got no idea how this is actually going to work, but the theory is you strip down the shields really quickly and then you take down the hull with a cannon. I've got no idea if this is actually going to work or not. This is just kind of me playing around a little bit. I've gone for all gimbals as well, just so you'd have all the weapons on target at the same time. At least that's the idea. Obviously chaff will be a problem doing something like this. I mean, looking at some of the weapon locations, you'd probably be fine using fixed weapons, or at least a mix of fixed and gimbaled. But anyway, I've gone all gimbaled just for the hell of it. In here, A6 power plant, A6 thrusters, A5 frameshift drive, A7 power distributor. It's interesting that it goes up to 7. I guess that's because of how many weapons and everything it carries. The shields are size 6, and you've actually got 2 size 6 internal compartments, so you can go for a size 6 shield cell bank as well. Then you've got a size 5 down here, and then it drops straight down to size 2. So there's no real middle ground, I guess. You're not really going to be using this as a trading ship. You're not going to have a lot of room for cargo or anything. The jump range is also pretty bad. So yeah, it's called a gunship. That's obviously what it's designed for. But you are going to have to be careful of your power use, I think. So let's see how this flies once I do my fire groups.
Ship released. Engines engaged. Landing gear retracted.
Okay, so as before, the maneuvering thrusters do feel pretty sluggish. Interesting engine noise. Somebody's made a mistake outside the station.
Under attack.
Ow. Alright. So yeah, it's fairly slow to maneuver, especially at speed. I've got 4 pips to the engines at the moment. Let's hit the boost again, see what our maximum speed is. 309 by the looks of it. Yes, that's 309, say 310 actually. That's where it tops out when boosting. Not a particularly fast ship. Let's see if we can do a bit of maneuvering and everything, and then once we've done that, we'll take a look at the fire pattern. Yeah, this ship does not maneuver well at all. And you've got all these weapons on it, but you might find it pretty difficult to keep the weapons on target, especially coming up against smaller ships. You're also maneuvering at a pretty low speed. I mean, remember, this is with 4 pips to the engines. Go 4 to the weapons. I mean, you're maneuvering at around 60, 70 meters per second, which makes you a pretty easy target. Alright, so let's, I am outside of the no-fire zone. Yes, okay, let's see how these go. We'll probably burn down the weapon capacitor pretty quickly. These are just burst lasers as well, remember. Actually, it can handle a fair bit of it firing. So those are your weapons pattern. And there goes the cannon. So the cannon is centerline, which is going to make it pretty easy to use. Alright, so that's kind of how that works. Let's head back to that hazardous resource extraction site. Okay, so we are in. Immediately we got some ships to shoot at, and one thing that I noticed while I was playing around with those weapons earlier, one of them was actually not selected from the fire group, which is probably why the firing pattern looked asymmetrical. So you can see now it's all nice and pretty. Anyway, let's take out this vulture, or at least attempt to. So we've got full power to the weapons. Let's just open up. Vulture obviously has strong shields, so all these beam weapons will hopefully be pretty good at taking this out. Yeah, his shields are mostly down now. Of course, now the problem is actually keeping up with him. There we go, and it's taking down his hull pretty quickly as well. Let's see how this cannon goes. Cannons, of course, can be pretty hard to hit with, given that they're a ballistic weapon. I don't have much luck with them. Close range, there we go, that one hit. Didn't see how much damage it did, but we are tearing this vulture apart with all these energy weapons. Once we can keep up with it. You'll probably find yourself, when you're maneuvering around, you'll probably find yourself playing around with power management a lot, all the, you know, pips to the engines, pips to the weapons and all that sort of thing. Alright, he's dead. Got a federal gunship there. Haven't fought one of these yet, obviously that is the ship that we are in. He's already in combat, so may not be the greatest comparison, but he hasn't lost his shields yet. How much is he worth? 64,000? Not a huge amount, especially for a deadly target. Let's head in and see if we can get the kill anyway. Alright, shields are down. His hull's taking a while to go down. There we go, that cannon did a bit of work there. My weapons are overheated at this point. One thing I would have liked to do is use something like a plasma accelerator or something, or even a large railgun. Not that I don't think they exist in this game yet anyway, but something like that would be really good just for sniping components. Of course, the problem with a lot of the ballistic weapons in this game is just ammunition capacity. You can see we've only got 100 shots basically. But he's down.
Target destroyed.
What's this guy? An Imperial Courier. So yeah, that low ammunition count means that these are not fantastic weapons for this sort of stuff, like for bounty hunting and everything.
Under attack.
So let's see how this ship handles having a few enemies attacking it at the same time. Because that does look like it's going to be a theme in these extraction sites, and he's just used Chaff, my worst enemy. I've only got one ship attacking me at the moment, which is an adder. So it's not doing too much, but I'm going to have to use a shield cell bank here. That courier died fast. Let's take out this adder now. Should go down pretty quickly.
Target shields offline.
Yep. Oh, I left him on 1%. And that shield cell bank restored my shields fully. Oh, missed him. Yeah, maneuvering around is a real pain in this ship. There we go, he's down. I guess it's getting you prepared for the Python or something. Because that ship does not like maneuvering either.
Target shields offline.
Alright, that worked. Type 9 down there. What else have we got?
Target destroyed.
So yeah, it can handle a few ships shooting at it. Admittedly, they weren't particularly dangerous ships, like Courier and a couple of adders. Not the greatest threats I've ever encountered. What's this? Diamondback Scout. Okay. But yeah, once you've actually got all those weapons on target and firing, it takes ships apart, like it just destroys them. Now, we're yet to see how it'll go against a big ship like a Python or an Anaconda. Obviously, this only has one large weapon. The rest of them will suffer a damage penalty against large ships.
Warning. Temperature critical.
Ooh, and it is overheating a little bit, which I haven't really been paying attention to my heat at all. But I guess firing that many laser weapons will have an effect on the heat. Alright, he's dead. So yeah, as I was saying, you will find a bit of a damage penalty against large ships. But that's the price you pay, I guess. But against smaller ships, it's just taking them apart. As I was saying though, the problem is with the maneuverability.
Under attack. Target shields offline.
Bit of a collision there, why not? And the other problem is, I suppose, with the cannon or the large weapon mount being below the cockpit, you just have to remember that when you're flying around and fighting. That's kind of the same problem that the Third Lance has with its huge hardpoint. It can be a little bit difficult to bring it to bear sometimes. Alright, so let's take out whatever some of these ships are down here, and then we'll probably have to call it there. Imperial Clipper, there we go. That's what I'd like to see. Something a little bit bigger, so this will give us an idea of how the ship handles a large ship. Actually, Python is even better. Oh, hello, Anaconda. It's time for us to die. The dangerous Anaconda. This could be interesting. I do have a chaff, so we can use that if need be. I think I've got one shield cell bank left. No, I've got more than one. That's fine. Alright, so what I'll actually do with this guy is I will target his power plant. And we'll see what result we get from this. I haven't been targeting it at all lately. So we should be able to take down his shields pretty easily. The problem is going to be his hull. I can't think of the right words to use. I mean, look how much damage we did to his shields though, just in that short amount of time. But I'm having trouble even keeping up with him. With just one pip to the engines, although he was boosting there. And let's try to avoid his huge hardpoint if I can. Shields are almost down. And I think he just used a shield cell bank. I believe NPCs are using them now. Alright, shields are down. Let's see if we can hit him with some of these cannon rounds. Look how much lead it has to give though, because he's a fair way away. He's too far away to use these effectively, really. Even for a large ship like him. We are taking down his hull pretty well. I don't know what he's doing. He's not returning fire at all. I wonder if he's not using turrets. Beam lasers, missile racks, really? Cannons. Okay, so he's not using particularly great weapons for an Anaconda. But yeah, I mean, you can't just fly around Anacondas this lazily, normally. Especially not dangerous ones, so I don't really know what this guy's doing. I guess it's a different loadout for pirates or something. I did see something in the patch notes that pirate weapons loadouts had been adjusted a bit. And I guess that's what this is.
Under attack.
Don't collide. Okay, collide. Yeah, this is actually a really easy fight, given that it's an Anaconda. And he should be dead any second now. There it is. Okay, that was a bit odd if I'm honest. I was expecting him to be a lot more dangerous than he actually was. I'm not sure if that was some AI bugs or if it's just because of the loadout he's using. Let's see how we go against this Python. I'm actually quite liking all of these weapons firing at once. Even if it may not be the most efficient way of doing things. Not really sure, but seems to be doing a fair bit of damage to this guy's hull. I just want to try and use this cannon now. Nope, that didn't work. So yeah, if the enemies let you just sit behind them and keep blazing away, which these NPCs are doing, this is a really good ship. And it feels like the AI is a bit broken though, if I'm honest. They're making this very easy for me. Alright, easy money. Well, we'll let this guy go actually, he's clean anyway. But yeah, so that is the Federal gunship. This seems like a pretty cool combat ship. It's definitely the middle ground between the Python and I guess the Clipper, something. Or even the Fer-de-Lance and Vulture or whatever. It's I would definitely consider this to be a dedicated combat ship. I mean, you can do other stuff with it, but I don't know why you would. There are other ships that are better for that sort of thing. In fact, I would say my opinion on all three of these new ships that have been added is that they are all dedicated combat ships. Let's see how it does the asteroid bounce test. Oh, it survived, so I guess that's good if you're in a resource extraction site. It will pass, or it will survive one full speed collision with an asteroid. A second one, probably not so well. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, these ships, they do strike me as all of them being dedicated combat ships. Which I guess is good, given that we've now got these more dangerous extraction sites and nav beacons. Yeah, I suppose the next update, which is the ships update, which is still probably a couple months away, will have more general purpose or trading ships or whatever. But yeah, so these ships in particular, they all seem fairly decent. The assault ship I'm not so sure about. The Imperial Eagle I think is going to be a good kind of novice sort of ship. As I was saying, with all three of these ships, one of the real things that will determine its usefulness is going to be the rank requirement. Because, you know, if they require really high ranks, then by the time you get to that rank, you may already be flying a Python or an Anaconda or something. With how long ranking takes these days, it's a lot easier to just kind of ignore it and make a shitload of money and move on to a Python or whatever. So that's going to be one thing that I guess we'll have to be careful of. But yeah, the Eagle seems like a good little fighter. As I said, the assault ship is probably the one that I'm not quite seeing the point of. I guess its price and everything will partly determine that. As for the gunship, it's going to be one of those ones that could be fairly difficult to use, but once you get all the weapons on target, I think it'll be a pretty decent gunboat, which is what it's named and what it's designed for. But yeah, as for the hazardous resource extraction sites, they seem pretty decent. I'm not sure if the AI was broken in that last round, because they were making things very easy for me. But yeah, it seems like that's going to be a good way of making some money for bounty hunting once you're in higher end ships. You'll probably find yourself getting killed fairly quickly if you go there in a low end ship. But, you know, that's as you would expect, I think. But yeah, so I've been recording for a long time, so I think I'm going to end this one here. So those are the 3 new ships, as well as the hazardous resource extraction sites. It's pretty cool. So any further updates and everything with the CQC beta, I will take a look at. But for now, I think that's most of the important stuff covered. A link to the patch notes will be in the video description, and I do suggest reading that if you're interested in all the changes. There are a large number of bug fixes and everything, all laid out in a rather unformatted list, which is very difficult to read, as is standard for Frontier. But yeah, so I think I will end this one here. So until next time, I've been Vornskyr. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.